Let's get more now on our top story, the threat posed by the Zika virus. Dr. Derek Gatherer is a virologist at Lancaster University in the UK and he joins us now. Thanks for your time. Dr. Gatherer, the Zika virus appears to be spreading very quickly. How can expectant mothers protect themselves and their babies?
It's very difficult really to protect yourself because it's spread by daytime biting mosquitoes. So the only way to do it really is to use lots of mosquito repellent and try to cover up the parts of the body that are likely to be bitten. A mosquito net that you might typically have in the bedroom to protect you at night won't be any use against the kind of mosquitoes that are spreading Zika virus. And the other precaution, of course, is to try perhaps in the affected areas, the areas that are most affected by Zika virus, to avoid commencing a pregnancy.
And of course, quite concerning the spread. What is the likelihood that the disease will spread not only across other parts of the Americas, but to other continents?
Certainly the kind of mosquitoes that can spread Zika virus that are members of the genus Aedes, which is a group of different mosquito species, are found as far north now as the Canadian border between the USA and Canada. The reason for this is that one of them, Aedes albopictus, which originated in Southeast Asia, has over the last couple of decades been spreading worldwide and is now found extensively throughout the Americas, and it seems to be better cold adapted than the classic mosquito Aedes aegypti, which has spread Zika virus in Africa and other parts of the tropical world. So if Aedes albopictus is able to spread Zika virus, then it might spread Zika virus to regions that we don't normally regard as tropical, which would include much of the territory of the USA and possibly also into the cooler parts of South America like Argentina and Uruguay.
And I understand there isn't a cure. How close are we to finding a vaccine for the virus?
I would imagine that vaccine development is still quite a long way off, mainly because we've had some trouble in the past developing vaccines against other flaviviruses, other viruses of the same family as Zika. For instance, dengue fever virus, which is a relative, has presented some great difficulties in vaccine development. The same may be true for Zika. Even if it was more straightforward to produce a vaccine against Zika, vaccines need to go through a full clinical trials process. So if we did this as fast as we possibly could, as was seen in the recent Ebola virus outbreak in West Africa, where an Ebola virus vaccine development was fast-tracked, it would still be probably about a year away before we had a Zika vaccine that was usable in the field.
And from what I understand, there aren't really any symptoms as such from this virus. How worried should we be, not only about the spread of the virus around the world, but around the fact that perhaps people can't really control the situation themselves?
Yes, Zika can be very mild indeed. It's scarcely worse than a dose of the flu in most healthy adults. And if it wasn't for this potential connection with microcephaly, the babies that are born deformed to some pregnant mothers, we would scarcely be bothered about Zika virus at all. But because microcephaly is so serious and because it presents a burden of mentally handicapped children on public health systems and on the families that have them for many decades to come, that's really why we're so concerned about Zika virus. It's not the effect on healthy adults, which is really fairly trivial compared to other infectious diseases in the tropics.
Okay, Dr. Gatherer, thanks very much for your time.